Hi, this is Nick Dragot at Heroes Con, and you're listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
I think we're going to go with that one. As usual.
First take hotness.
Yeah, he never does more than one. Just for the people playing at home.
Right, yeah. First time.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Oh, boy. Why are you so giddy?
That must be high as a kite, because he's as quiet as a mouse, just listening along.
I wish I was high right now. Fuck. Wow. I'm so full of fucking NyQuil and Benadryl. I'm fucking just...
you're zonked.
Yeah, I feel like shit.
We're going to get you high as a kite, because you know what? This is 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 884, and I'm the pusher man, Vince P.
You are the pusher man. I am not. I'm David A. Price.
This is true, and of course, you all know me. I am Travis Morgan, better known as...
Wow.
You're not Travis Morgan. You're Jason Wood.
Could be.
No. You're Jason...
You don't have the Van Dyke.
It's true.
Now, it seems like it's hard for you to grow facial hair, is it?
I mean, I've had a beard the entire time you've known me.
Yeah, I know, but it's not like that super thick.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I could never grow anything like that.
It's downy, actually.
Yeah, it is. Like Robert.
You're not Jason Wood, everybody. No, you are Jason Wood. What's happening? You're not Travis Walton. You're Jason Wood, everybody. Here together on this average old normal ass episode where we uplift you with
Such a salesman.
Well, normal's good. We uplift you with scintillating talk about the comic books. Mm-hmm. Brought to you by cheapgraphicnovels.com. cheapgraphicnovels.com. If you want to get your graphic novels on the cheap, and I'm just not talking graphic novels. I'm talking OGNs, trade paperback collections, omnibus editions, manga, art books, all that stuff. You can get them for far less than cover price at cheapgraphicnovels.com. A couple episodes back, we did a comparison of the featured specials on CGN. That's because we know them. We can call them that, CGN. And Amazon. And guess what? CGN beat Amazon every time.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes. Remember, place an order because you are going to be stunned, speechless, at the amount that you can save at cheapgraphicnovels.com. Once they get your order, they're going to reply to it and say, hey, thanks for your order, person. You're going to reply to that email saying, you know what? 11 O'Clock Comics sent me. Max is going to, just like Santa, he's going to laugh his big old belly laugh and gift you, because it is the season, with free shipping on your next order. It's incredible. So you're saving on the cover price massively. And then you're saving on shipping by paying nothing for your second order. It's crazy. Just go to cheapgraphicnovels.com. Savings all around. It's like you're throwing up savings.
All day, air day.
There you go. Nice. Little improv for you. It's Christmas time. Right. And because it's Christmas time, I still have some old Fezziwig. I was wrong. That wasn't the last of it. So I'm drinking old Fezziwig. It's a sliding scale, descending, as it were. Drinking Old Fezziwig, then I have a Founders All Day Haze, which is a Session Hazy IPA, and then I have a can of, they're changing the name to this, actually. I have a can of Shit Yingling. So, yeah. Well, we bought it for whatever reason, I don't even remember, and I have like a couple cases of it, so I have to drink it.
You got to.
I can't save it for Christmas because I'm thinking it won't be the freshest. And I don't want to, far be it from me to not roll out the red carpet for my guests on Christmas Eve.
You get a big old crew coming, right?
Too many. Yeah, more than two is a big old crew. So, yes, there's a big crew coming. Yeah.
What's on the menu?
Oh, seven fishes.
But I'm saying, well, yeah, right, but it's like it can...
Calamari, bacala, we have some kind of whitefish. Usually it's cod. shrimp, not the good shrimp, like real shrimp.
Oh.
No, we have real shrimp. Sometimes lobster. I don't know if we're doing that this year, but we may. Did I say bacala? I did.
You did, but I'm so glad you said it again because that is I love, dude.
It's amazing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I murder it.
Oh.
Sometimes
some in the mail real quick. Just toss it in the
why
mail.
don't you just come and have it? Sometimes we have crab on the half shell. It depends. It depends.
Damn, you guys go all out.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this a Christmas or two ago. I have never had a Feast of the Seven Fishes, and that bums me out because I'm pretty much like everyone around me is Italian.
Oh, linguine with anchovy sauce.
Woof.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Oh, getting me hungry.
Yeah, troops are upstairs. They're hungry too. Can't you hear them? They're checking.
I can't hear them, but for wondering where Dap is, I think Dap, you making yourself a Bartesian drink right now?
No.
Well, actually, it's your turn. You didn't go.
Lighting the candle on the menorah in celebration of the Hanukkah. What's going
that's
on?
right.
Yeah, I should have saved the blessing for the show.
Burkatai, right?
Well, don't go because
There you go.
Jason didn't answer.
I know he didn't.
I didn't answer what?
He didn't answer the drink. Just say water so Dap can talk.
I was on a tangent. I'm drinking Schweppes pink grapefruit seltzer.
Schweppes. Dap, I know you don't watch the Hallmark, but I don't know what it is this year. The Jewish-themed ones are great. Really good. Just saying.
Okay.
That's been quite pleased with this season.
I got to see what channel it is. It's on over here. Maybe I'll see about spinning some up this weekend.
Nice. What are you drinking there, Dap?
Just a simple gin and tonic. Nothing crazy.
Well, as long as you're enjoying it.
I am. I wanted something with alcohol. I didn't want. I didn't do the whole. I am out of it. I took a nap a little while ago before we started tonight, so I didn't have time to boil the water for the tea for the hot toddy or anything like that. So I was just like, fuck it, let me just get upstairs, grab this, sit down, talk to my booze, have a good night.
There you go.
That's winning at life to me. It sounds like
it is.
Yeah.
Right. So a little bit of behind the scenes action. We all teamed up this week on stuff. It wasn't even planned. It's just the way it happened.
It's true.
And we're stating it right now. We're going to have it may not be our first. I have to check the archives, but we are having a silver Sprocket-O-Rama this episode.
Unbelievable, inconceivable.
Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. Jason, do you want to start? Or should we all go in? We'll talk about one we all read. Because I know that this, like the Krabby Patty, is a universal good. You cannot dislike this book. You can't. If you do, it's not the book, it's you. All right? This is the latest delivery in a fairly long-running series, right? I believe it was numbered for a while, and then it turned into a series of one-shots. And this is the latest, called Everything Sucks, Friends Forever. And it is, of course, done by Michael Sweater.
Not where I thought you were going with this, by the way.
I knew it. I knew it as soon as Vince set it up like that, because every other time we've talked about Everything Sucks and Michael Sweater, it either Jason hasn't read it or he hasn't found the episode. So this may be, and absolutely correct me if I'm wrong, this may be the first time Jason's read Everything Sucks.
It could be. But I hazard to guess it won't be the last once he experiences the magnificence of Michael Sweater.
We'll see.
Well, Yeah. We got a 50-50 shot, right?
This is great. I can't wait.
I love that you're just like in anticipation of it.
I am.
It is a beautiful cover. I mean, I wish this is one time where I wish like we were doing YouTube because I want people to see this cover.
Yeah, the like chromatic gold inlay.
Yeah,
it shines in the light. Yeah,
I was talking with Dap before the episode, and I said, Silver Sprocket has to have a sugar daddy somewhere.
I was thinking the same thing
because
they're not. Listen, we love Silver Sprocket. I mean, but like the production quality of the stuff, you got to think they're moving units.
It's ridiculous. This stuff is not cheap. Spot varnish alone adds significantly to the production costs. But look at this book. Like, it's $8, okay? But
full color.
Spot varnish.
Stickers.
You see, you buried the lead. Like, what the hell? Spot varnish and gold foil, right? Not just in one spot. And there's text with gold foil on it.
Yep.
Heavy paper. This is not, it's glossy, clay-coated
like
paper.
That Baxter paper.
This is better than Baxter.
Yeah. Word up.
Yeah. And as Dap popped his load going in, there's a sheet of stickers in the back. And they're slaps. They're priority mail stickers that have been illustrated as if, someone was out in the streets, doing the slaps, putting them on. I love this book. It's very street. It is. But, so it's very simple premise, very simple. 3 friends get stuck in a bathroom. It's a 1-act play with basically in one room. It starts off in a bar, but it quickly segs into the bathroom. And Noah, Brad, and Kala get stuck. The door jams in the bathroom, and hilarity ensues. It takes a good writer to make an interesting story with a minimum of characters, I think. Like 3 characters. That's a small cast for a tale, I think. And there's one location, a bathroom. But it kind of reminds me of every sitcom in the 1970s. Right? Especially like the Honeymooners. Honeymooners had more than one location, but for the most part, it either took place in the kitchen, Ralph and Alice's kitchen, or like maybe one extra location, one additional location. And man, I think Michael's not only he's just a phenomenal cartoonist. That's the thing that attracted me to him initially was his cartooning ability. There's something about his puffy, organic line. I just love the way he draws everything. And so that was the key that, entered the lock. But I think he's a pretty good storyteller too. Like, I shouldn't identify with a lot of this. And to be honest, with a number of these Silver Sprocket books, I didn't identify. I could not. I just couldn't. But that's on me. I'm out of the age bracket. But something Michael Sweater does is pretty universal to me. Like, I've been there hanging out in a bar, right? I've been there trying to find relationships. I've never been stabbed in the shoulder blade or have been locked in a bathroom that's quickly filling with water or had a girl drop trow
right, yeah,
in a bathroom taking a shit next to me. Like, never had that happen. But I like this. All this feels comfortable to me.
Yeah,
like it's not a stretch to approximate these things in my life. I have had similar incidents as the one depicted in here, but not as extreme as this. And it didn't hurt that Noah's like my favorite Everything Sucks character. So
big shock.
Yeah. The setup is Noah's always complaining. He's very abrasive, and he's at a bar, and this woman, Becca, comes up to him and says, "Hey, You wanna watch a movie?
She about his dick.
Yeah, it's the thing. So no points for taste. But she wants to watch the thing, and he's like, "Is this a joke? You put me on? Is cameras? What?" And she's like, "Oh, if you wanna get together, we can watch it." So he's like, "Oh, good. I won't shit, but he has to shit." So he goes into the bathroom, and while he's in there, Calla comes in, takes a dump, and of course, Brad fucks things up by closing the door, and then the door won't open, and then he tries to get out of a ceiling vent, the ductwork, and knocks the sink off its moorings, and the pipe breaks, and water comes flooding in, and the rest of the story can be experienced on your own. I have nothing but love for Michael Sweater. He's one half of the Benji Nate. Want to call it an equation, I guess? So it's a stupid way of saying it. Michael Sweater and Benji Nate are a thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we've talked about Benji Nate's work here before. But I know David. David has good taste. So he loved this. But I need to know what Jason thought of it. This isn't one of those things where if you don't like it, the show's over. But it's close.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
No, I mean, I thought this was very cute. I mean, is it groundbreaking? No. Was it like right on the edge of like the characters being loser slackers that I was going to be like, fuck this? Just on the edge, but like to their credit, they kept me in it. And I think part of it is the animation style. I mean, for those that aren't familiar with the work, like I was thinking, it kind of looks like Gumball, like that kind of vibe.
Yeah. Not as clean as Gumball, but yeah.
No, for sure. But like, just that kind of type, like something you definitely could see in like a an Adult Swim cartoon, right? Like it's definitely got that vibe. But yeah, listen, it was silly. It reminded me of after I finished it, I was like, oh, this is like a comic version anthropomorphized of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like this is like an Always Sunny episode. Like they get locked in the bathroom and it floods, and like that's just something that would happen to them. I'm like,
I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, it's very close. I mean, listen, there's like 17 seasons, so it gets very repetitive, like all sitcoms. But but it's well done for what it is.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Nice.
I mean, I must say, to Daph's point, to whatever extent you all have talked about these books before, I have no memory of it. So.
Oh God! Well, I could think of at least 3 times we've talked about
it. At least 2, because we talked about two issues in one episode, and then I think a follow up.
Yeah, and then I read one that you didn't read.
Yeah.
So at least 2-3 times.
Yeah,
that's all right. He just hits the mute button, but I can sum it up succinctly. I know when I lay my money down for a Michael Sweater book, I know exactly what I'm going to get, and I know I'm going to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. That's a win. Like, can you say that about every book you buy these days? No.
Oh, definitely not.
I have the utmost confidence in his ability to entertain me. Mm-hmm. There you go. And there's a backup story in which a rabbit is pissed because somebody shit on his rock.
There's a bear shit in the woods?
And he doesn't believe anybody. So he enforces them to shit in front of him to prove, because if they shit on his rock, they can't shit again after having shit so recently. So he forces a bunch of his friends to shit in front of him. And there's a tiny little expected twist ending. But who doesn't want to see a rabbit forcing his friend, who's a frog, to shit? It's gold. It's comedy gold. There's a lot of characters in here that just don't care about whipping their pants down and shit in front of their friends.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's a trope.
It is.
Poor raccoon's not getting any, but he knows how to shit. Did we say shit enough? I don't think so. So that's
Very,
the first.
very blue.
That's the first of the silver sprocket.
The first checkpoint of the O-Rama race, right?
All right. So if we're grading these, I'm giving this an A.
Yeah.
B.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I'll give it a B.
Okay, that's not a bad average.
Yeah.
Yeah, B plus, right?
Solid B.
No, I mean the average would be
the
a B
average.
plus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about next, Jason? It's up to you.
Oh, but in the O-Rama, though, right?
Sure. Yes, in the O-Rama.
Well, I know that these are books that that our patrons, our amazing Slack patron brothers and sisters, love these books.
Yes, they do.
They love these damn books. And I know that DAP. One of the things we don't mention is one of the things we do weekly. DAP posts the all the new comics in the Slack. List of all the new comics, and we all pop in and give our top 5 books that we're most looking forward to picking up this week. And I feel like this set of comics is always in those lists, like by other people. They're like, "Oh, I'm so stoked this next issue's coming out." And I was like, "I don't." Filed it away. I'm like, I gotta get up on these issues. They seem like the hotness, but never going to a physical store as I do. I'm like, oh, I gotta get them and can order them. But Silver Sprocket hooked us up and didn't make me have to order them because they sent them to us, and that is Poo-Poo, which is admittedly an absurd name. But that's kind of the point, right? But I don't. I mean, I had never read any of this before. Had either of you read it before?
I don't know if I've ever read anything from Carolyn Cash before this.
I have not.
So there you go. Look at that. I see Dap read them. Did you read them, Vince?
I did.
You did?
Yes, because look at how he wrote it.
I don't have it.
All right. You don't have to.
You don't have to out loud, but yeah.
Oh. Interesting. Okay. Well, listen. Keeping it 100, right?
Yep.
So, judging from our list that we show each other what we read for the week, I'm guessing that Vince did not care for these issues. Interesting. Our Slack patrons are crying right now.
It's okay. Tell
sad.
Tell the world why you enjoyed these.
Well, first of all, the issues are. I mean, they're not quite treasury size, right? Like they're. What would you say? I mean,
no, they're almost like magazine size.
Yeah, exactly, like magazine size.
Yeah, it's a magazine, and again, we have to stress: great paper,
crazy,
thick cover stock, foil,
glittery titles.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like,
and spot varnish. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Color printing. I mean, the paper is a toothy stock, not like the clay coat stock that's in the Michael Sweater book, but still, they're printing these in color for the most part. It's insane to me.
Yeah, for sure. So they're not numbered in an official way; they're numbered in a humorous way. So there's issue number 69, issue number 420, and then issue 80085.
Boobs.
Yeah. I was going to type it out. You'll see what it says. But as Dap mentioned, the creator is Carolyn Cash, and these are like single issue, single creator anthologies. Probably for our listenership, like in the same kind of like camp as like the stuff that like Rug will do, where like if you go to a con, he's got like a little single comic issue anthology, and inside it he's done it all, but it's like different styles, different vibes, a true anthology, except just all from one single mind. I knew nothing about Cash before this, like you, Dap. I had never, other than in our community, people being excited when these books would come out, I knew nothing of them. I'm guessing now after reading these 3 issues, I mean, I've kind of a pretty clear picture of who she is, or at least who she portrays herself to be. I mean, she is a lesbian comic creator, and it's a bit that her sexuality and that was a big part of the motif of these stories. I don't know if that's true of all of the stuff. Like, are these the only issues so far, or are there other issues? Do you know?
I do not know.
Yeah. well, assuming there are other issues, I mean, again, maybe that's a theme, but clearly, like, she puts herself in these stories. These are autobiographical in many cases. But I enjoyed them. I think the thing that, like, I liked the most about it was the rug thing, which is that she varied the art style, she varied the layout, the theme, like the genre. So, I mean, I thought that was well crafted. And I will say that like with any anthology, like, not every story hit, to the same degree, but there were definitely some stories that I thought were really well done. And I will say, if I had to categorize them, not a shocker to some, but like the stuff that really got me was when she would do like her personal, like, slice of life dating stuff, like in some of the shenanigans that she had to get up to with all that, like that felt realer to me, like, because I don't know that I find her humor like all that coincident with mine. So, like, but I appreciated some of the attempts, but I think, like, when she kind of kept it a little more real, those stories spoke to me more. But yeah, I'm fascinated and curious why you don't like it, Vince, because I think the art's well done, and I think it's varied and creative, and so I'm curious why this wouldn't resonate with you.
All right. Tread lightly, I know. Going in, I will say that I think visually, it's very well done.
Totally.
I like the art a lot. I like the hand-drawn type a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The pastiches, they're okay. The 69 has a pastiche cover of Robert Crumb illustration, and on the first page, she does a pastiche of the pissing Calvin, and Crumb's head is in the toilet. Like, okay. It's funny, I guess. And then the 420 is a Dan Clowes 8-ball pastiche, and then on the boobies, or the boobs, 885 issue, it's a Silver Age DC romance comic cover. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, very creative. I get it. I guess I should tell you which strip I liked. It would be far easier to tell you which strip I liked than yeah. I really liked the Unofficial Art School Confidential strip, because that section is nothing but truth, 100% truth. Everything she says is pretty much dead on. Mm-hmm. So that one, there was a hook for me that brought me in, and she was kind of speaking my language, which is not a prerequisite for anything I read. Like, you don't have to come to me. I will come to you if I find value in your words, right? And again, anybody who's listened to this show knows I genuflect deeply at the altar of William Burroughs. So queer culture and queer fiction is not out of my wheelhouse, right? I don't want to, anybody to think that the themes or the content is pushing me away.
Oh, yeah. Well,
right.
Who would think that unless they're brand new to the show? Like,
well, that's what hey, you never know, right? We get new listeners all the time. So, right. Burroughs, my dude. I just don't. It's Much Ado About Nothing. Every strip. There's nothing in here that makes me think, glad I read that. Like, let's go to a bar, lead on a bunch of guys, get our drink on, and then leave. I'm sure it's a thing. Like, it probably happens a lot. But that's not interesting to me. Right? And then there was a whole bunch of strips.
You mean because it lacks absurdity?
No, it just lacks something. Anything, I'm trying to find another strip. Like, I'm not concerned with other people's style. I'm not concerned with their taste in music or dress or their comments. Like, I'm just not concerned with people, period. Right?
Right.
And a lot of this is talking about, this person who lives upstairs that I hate because he's so pretentious. He only listens to vinyl and he thinks the Sex Pistols, Anarchy in the UK, you have to listen to it or you haven't lived. Like, I've known people like that, and they register for about 2 seconds in my life and then I forget about them. Right? It's not something that I would actually use in a creative way to make something. And the one about taxes was like, tell us something we don't know, right? I don't, and I'm really glad she's happy being gay. I'm happy that she finds fulfillment in something in her, or she's enriched, or is glad that she can live the way she wants to live. But to be totally honest, I don't really care. Like I don't. That if this doing these strips bring her joy, there's obviously an audience for it. Good for them, good for her, good for everybody around that enjoys it. But I didn't get anything out of this. Like one of the best things about being a lesbian is boobs. No kidding. Like I understand that, but to produce a strip with that as the payoff, like, okay. I'm not hating it. I'm definitely not in that beam, that she's projecting. So it's just something. I don't read political thrillers, right? I also don't read history books. Like, we all have our thing. This is definitely not mine.
Sure.
I don't want to say I'm glad it's out there, because I've never said that about anything. I mean, and meant it.
Right.
I'm happy for Carolyn that this is getting her success doing the thing that she obviously finds fulfilling. So great. It's just not for me.
What you think, Dap?
I enjoyed him. I really did. There's enough where my attention span, or what I get enjoyment out of, whether it's a full 80-page comic or 3 panels, it doesn't matter. So if I can be entertained and chuckle a few times, then I'm here for it. There is absolutely enough here that I caught myself chuckling at a few of the things that goes on in her life. I thought, depending on, there are certain things where we all find something where it just hits us just right, and we start giggling uncontrollably. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Nobody else is going to laugh as hard as we are about it, but it just tickles you at that. And that, whether it was just my mind frame this afternoon or what, but I finished one, and I quickly I finished 69, and I grabbed 420, and I finished that, and I grabbed it. Just I consumed them. I was really I got a big kick out of them, and I hope I will, just like the thanks to DNT and NMS Harkness. Now anytime I see something from Carol, I'm going to check it out. Will it hit as well as these? I don't know, but at least now she's on my radar, and I'll be on the lookout for future offerings.
There we go. So
nice.
Divergent opinions among us, but
yes. I guess I could put it this way. It's a queer book. Correct.
Sure.
I didn't learn anything more about the, I don't want to call it a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle, right? It's fair to say being gay is a lifestyle, right? Is that belittling it? I just correct me. I didn't learn about this
queer culture is what you're saying.
I didn't learn anything more about queer culture that I already knew going in. That they're just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. They're petty and vindictive and lazy, and they have anxiety, and they're manipulative, and they're joyous. Like all that stuff that I got from these stories, I already knew that going in.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, we're not breaking any ground here. You're not a lover of autobio comics generally, slice of life, and that's just not your shtick.
This is true.
So if I had the handicap, I would have thought you weren't going to enjoy these for that reason.
Right. So what's the grade? What's the grade we put on these?
I give this a B+.
Okay.
Same. Yeah.
I'm going to go with a C. And that's entirely on the merits of the art.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I really like her art.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What else do we have?
We have Leftstar and the Strange Currents.
We all read that, right?
We sure did.
Jean-Philippe, yes.
Let's go and grab it.
This was, I don't want to say it was a quick read, but it kind of was. But I don't want to say mesmerizing, but it was another one that I just couldn't put down. Once I started, I was just like, well, I gotta see where we're going with this. And, L is just, I mean, I'm hesitant to kind of, review this like we do some of our other books, because I don't want to mislead anybody. I don't want to impart how I felt about this on anyone else. It's kind of, I mean, it's pretty, what's on the page is on the page, but I think there are, at least again, though, it could have been in my medicine-filled stupor. There are just things that I kind of up to interpretations. It's kind of dreamlike in a way. Some of the conversations, some of the journey that Elle goes on. It looks great. It's another one that's really well illustrated. And there's a couple of different different styles with the wash, with just the line work, with the blues and some of there's some browns here and there. But it's basically, L is Leftstar is they're a world builder, and they're having trouble accessing getting back to that world. And so there's a whole, they're going on a journey now with a giant fruit bat, and it was pretty clever, because I really didn't see the not that it was a mystery or anything, but I really didn't. I didn't see where the story was kind of going, but Leftstar is just trying to get back to this world they created, and there are some other conversations, some other characters that we meet along the way. But as far as a beginning, middle, and end, I think I enjoyed this book a lot, and it's as far as just kind of everything I think I need is in these pages. Like, I didn't need to worry about what's coming after or what came before. It's just, I really, and I enjoy the package is basically what I'm saying. I just thought that it was a nice little self-contained story that I got a kick out of, and I could actually see me revisiting this in a year or so, just to flip through it again, just to see what kind of feelings it brings back. But I enjoyed it way more than I expected to, because I started flipping through it, and then I sat down to read it, and it, whatever preconceived notions I had just by flipping through it initially, completely different than when I actually started reading the story and making my way through it.
This one spoke to my soul, David.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I love that.
Because it's an allegory for the pitfalls involved in artistic creation. That's the whole book. L makes a world. He fashions something out of nothing. The science of it, who cares? It's in there, but it doesn't really matter. He makes a world, and then the more he creates within this world, the more he starts second guessing himself. Oh, this isn't the way I wanted it. This isn't good enough. Scraps it, starts again with certain things, goes in another direction and another area. Just nothing they make is good enough. And then the tension and the anxiety and the artistic block starts to mount, because with every new creation, it's still not good enough. And it's failure according to them, failure after failure after failure. And then they just abandon the world. They leave for a long time. And then they try to go back to the world and they can't get to it because it's sealed off. You can't just jump back into an artistic creation and pick up where you left off. It doesn't work that way. You're not the same person. Time has passed. Experience, failure, all of that stuff from which you hopefully learned has been absorbed. So to go to the work with the same eyes as you had as when you started, it's impossible. And this is a definite problem that creative types have. I totally understand every line in this book, that to make something and to find yourself lacking, walk away, start something else, find something lacking within whatever your style of line, whatever, any part of the creative process, it doesn't reflect well in the mirror when you step back and look at it. And these are the problems every creative individual faces. This book is magnificent.
I love it. About you, Jason? He's muted.
Oh my God! How do you know you're not muted? But anyway,
my bad.
That's all right.
My bad. Yeah. Because it's not, it's my kid's computer. I'm not used to it.
Yeah. That's good.
I'll relax. In answer to Daph's question, I said I certainly can't say it any better than you just did. But I'm glad that, having read this, thinking to myself, like, okay, well, allegory that it is about creative blockage, like, the litmus test for me is going to be when we have this episode and see what Vince thinks. And so the fact that you obviously were ebullient about the veracity of those feelings, I thought, well, okay, there you go. No, I thought it was really good. Dap, I think you're right. I mean, I think the art is it's like unassuming in its line, but like it's really well done. Like it's well done in simplicity. It's like I was trying. It's like a little bit simpler approach to like say like an Emily Carroll, but I got the same kind of vibes from it with the wash, like you were saying, sporadically used in choice places and the design of the. I mean, I just thought overall like the aesthetic design. I mean, the bat, the having it like solid black with just basically being a shadow. Like I just thought it was well designed. Really, really well designed, and I think the message of the story comes through, but it's in a creative way, which it should be because you're talking about creative blockage. So yeah, overall, I would give this an A.
Same.
Yeah. Well, I wish we had a higher scale, because I don't think an A cuts it for this. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely give it an A. And I think it's chef's kiss that how do I put this without spoiling it? That a thing that was initially discarded or left behind is the thing that accompanies Elle on their journey of I don't want to say reawakening, but it takes them to the reset button. Hopefully it's a reset button. But yeah, I thought, wow, like this, Jean-Philippe gets it. And he understands. I mean, and a lot. I think so. No, and I mean, we all feel this, but how many of us can put it into as interesting and compelling a tale as this without being heavy-handed?
Right.
Because it's not preachy at any step.
No.
There are clues. Elle's having a hard time sleeping. Mm-hmm. There's something eating away at him. And the fact that it's a sentient thing that gets stuck in an unfinished world, that's amazing. That's beautiful. It's dead on. because these things that we leave behind gain life. They're our failures, and we know them as well as we know flesh and blood entities. Right? We created them, and yet we abandon them. It's amazing, and the solution is perfect.
Yeah,
it's true. I won't spoil it, but the remedy is so simple, but no one really wants to accept that. You say, no, I got to fix it. I got to fix what I did. No. Just read the book, because it is awesome.
What is, right?
Yep.
Nice. We all gave that one an A.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Right. Now, what else you got, Jason? From the silver
from the box.
Yes.
From the box. Well, the only other thing I think that I read from the box was Prokaryote Season, and I don't think either of you read it. No.
I read about 20 pages of it.
Okay. Okay. All right, fair enough. That?
No, actually, this was I've had that as a PDF for months now, because they Silver Sprocket sent it as a review, and it's I never got around to reading it. Now that I actually have it, a physical copy, I will be reading it soon. I didn't get to it for this episode.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's funny. I gave it 20 pages. Of the books we've discussed from Silver Sprocket tonight, this is by far the largest. Like, this is a multi-hundred page full graphic novel, you know. So it's definitely a bigger time commitment for sure. It is written and drawn by Leo Fox. And for those that don't know, a prokaryote is a single-celled organism. And the story is basically it takes place in the broader world per se, but it's basically a story of three people: Sydney, Lauralee, and Trip. And Sydney and Lauralee are best friends. They are both transmask. And the story is essentially them dealing with their friendship and the perhaps imbalance between their romantic hopes, and Trip is one of their lovers, and that creates this triangle dynamic. But this is basically people being pretty terrible to one another because they don't know how to deal with the fact that they want what they want, but they probably can't have it. And I appreciated in the materials that Fox explains the motivation for doing this, and that when Leo was making the book, they were very much in this life, and by the time they finished the book, they had kind of gotten that out of their system and become a more mature person when it came to their romantic relationships. And it, to your point, Vince, about whether or not one has to identify with it. I mean, I certainly, from a life experience on a level, I certainly have no comprehension of being a 20-something transmask person, right? Like, that's obviously not the life I've lived. But I have to say, to Leo's credit, reading this brought me back to those days when you're of a certain age and you are confused by the idea of friendship, right? Or being friend zoned and wanting more, but not necessarily wanting to risk going for more because it could ruin the relationship you have as a friend. And I think that's a very relatable thing for quite a few people in some capacity at some point in your life. And then you kind of juice it up with this saucy bit of characters who are pretty nasty to each other at times and selfish. And I think it makes for a really intriguing read. One of the things I appreciate the most about this box and the Silver Sprocket in general when we talk about them is that they always challenge me. I mean, none of the stuff that they put out is something that if I just saw in a blanket solicit, I'd be like, this is for me, right? But they've earned such a trust from us and our friends who have collectively all experienced a lot of what they've done, that they really are a tastemaker for me now. Like, I go to them 2 or 3 times a year and order up a bunch of stuff to be challenged, right? To know that I'm going to I'm going to have to see how I connect with this stuff. You know, you said earlier, Vince, like, you're fine if the art makes you come to it, right? And I thought that was well put. And it's kind of what I feel like with Silver Sprocket. I open up each book not knowing what I'm going to get, recognizing that this isn't something that I would seek out if I were out in the world just looking for comics from a narrative perspective, but that I'm going to try and come away with it something of value. And I think almost to a book that I've ever read from Silver Sprocket, that's what happens, right? It may not be my favorite thing that I've read. It may not be something that I feel the need to come back to it anytime soon, but I'm always taking something from it that feels unique in an industry that of late is taking a lot of flack for having very little, right, unique or new to it. So kudos to Silver Sprocket, and this book is just another example of that.
Yeah. Totally agree with all that. Again, I don't want to. I'm going to split my commentary on this because visually, I think the book is a treat. I like Leo's art. I like the pattern making. I like the textures. The character design is really well done. The design, like many pages, are extremely well designed. Whether they have some kind of border of like a plant-based border, or there's other like just designy little.
Reminded me a lot of DeForge. You know, I could see there. They could be of the school of DeForge, right? Like
right.
Ant Colony and that kind of thing. Yeah.
But to Leo's credit, a lot of the border effects aren't repeated very often, so there's a diversity to this book that I think is really eye catching. The clean line, very strong blacks, of course. The art, I totally give it a big old bear hug. I like it a lot. The story, I knew I was in trouble when the Lorelei said, I want to be air, so my friends can breathe me.
Right.
And as it seems like that it's lamenting, as you said, like lamenting over the natural and unnatural occurrences in the world over which they have absolutely no control.
Yeah.
And that,
but maybe that's why I was drawn to it, because to me that is evocative of that generation. Fair or unfair, I see, and I know every generation thinks the younger generation is different. I'm not saying they're worse. I just think, but certainly if we chronicle what makes like that generation is in their feelings, right? Like my sons are all part of it. They're in their feelings, like in a way that we rarely were. Not to say that that's a good or a bad thing, but like that's like it is the neurotic generation. Right?
I understand. Yes.
But what you're saying is you don't want to read about it. I get that. Like I'm not saying I'm not. If I was thrown this book by someone who considered my opinion valid, I would read it. I would invest in it and take the time to understand it. But this is entertainment, right? I can't disagree with the notion to dissolve the borders between these things that separate us. Like that's totally worthwhile endeavor, right? I completely agree with that and get that. It's just the whole. I try not to pick words that are bad, and sometimes I do. But it's the like the crushing weight of the world, and I can't stand it. And I wish I was just this little thing that didn't have to deal with all this stuff, and I'd be happy. No, you wouldn't. No, the world exists. If you don't like the way it is, then change it, or band together with like-minded folk and try and change it from that perspective. Or maybe this is Leo's way of trying to change it. I think this is a very. What you're saying is valid. It's just it's like with all it, but it's similar to my rant when we talk about Slacker comics and why I have trouble connecting with them, because it's like you control your own destiny in many ways. Not always. There are circumstances that can preclude you from. But in general, like we are masters of our own destiny. We have a lot of say in how our lives go.
Yeah. And I'm a conundrum. I guess an enigma, because there are times when I want to read the most confounding, impenetrable, deep Burroughsian stuff, and there's other times when I want to read, superpowered spandex wearing, entities punching the shit out of each other. and it's what day I seg into either of those mindsets is who knows, right?
Yeah.
And I just wasn't anywhere near the right mindset to read this. So I'm gonna again grade it only on the visuals. I'll give it a B+ for the visuals.
Yeah, I mean,
I only read 20 pages, so it's not fair to talk about the majority of the.
Yeah, I would give it a B+ as well. I mean, because I don't. Do I think it's the best of its type that I've read in the last few years? No. But did I appreciate it for what it was and find a lot of charm in it? I did. So yeah. I'll give it a B+.
And
not something like I'm not something I would have picked up if I'm just looking through previews, right? So there is real value, I think, in Silver Sprocket.
There's tremendous value. I've never experienced a Silver Sprocket book that wasn't at least aesthetically pleasing.
For sure, yeah.
Whether or not the story manages to, or the narrative manages to reach me, that's a different aspect of it. But visually, you cannot beat, the majority of the things that I've seen come out of Silver Sprocket. It's crazy.
I mean, I would say that the book I know that another book that you had just dipped your toes in and didn't complete, that we got in the package, I would say that's the most of all of these. That's the most visually accomplished. Like, I think that book is the best.
It definitely is. I mean, and you can talk about it. It's just that
the fantasy.
Chromatic. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I didn't read it. The Chromatic Fantasy by, is it H.A.? Is that what they go by? It's just, that's what it's written. Yeah. It's written by H, the capital H period, capital A period, H.A. It is an adults only book. The intro explains that this was the first book of their published career, and that H.A. wanted to basically make a let's see, this is something I definitely don't want to misquote. So, I'm getting at an age where I need bifocals. I have to squint right now because I can't read the print as well as I should be able to. Wow, you're seeing me age in real time here.
Damn.
So they're saying that there was a gaping hole in the queer world where esoteric trans guy camp bullshit should be. You can see why I didn't want to get that quote wrong. So that is what H.A. self-professed this book is about. But it's actually a multi-100-page high fantasy book. And to be clear, I didn't read the book. I literally leafed through it like you would a cartoon. But that's why I did want to bring it up because, I'm with Vince. I don't know that that in my reading categorization, a 300-page fantasy book that's about about their journey through this world that I don't really know or have any connectivity to. Yeah, it's probably not something that I'm gonna, it's definitely not something I'm gonna even after we talk about it, I'm gonna have to make sure I finish it. But I will say, and the reason I did want to bring it up is that of all the books we've talked about, it's also gorgeously produced. The cover is stunning, but I really do think the art is incredible. It looks like almost like you're looking at like French cell animation, or sometimes, a lot of times it looks like Bakshi, or maybe a little bit more like a anglicized manga feel, more like a what's the term, Vince, for manga targeted towards feminine storylines? What's that called? Did I lose Vince?
I was doing some work. Shoujo,
yeah.
Yes.
But it had that kind of line to it. So, I mean, I think
there's a clamp vibe to it. Yeah, but it's not as pretty, and it doesn't have to be.
I don't know what you call it, but the when you're looking at the book, the papers, it's got a gold on the side.
Yeah,
which is impressive. It speaks against production value. Like
True Confessions. That I laid them all out, opened the box, laid them all out, put the Michael sweater aside because I knew that I would read that. And as I'm going through the books, Chromatic Fantasy was the one that grabbed me by the throat.
Right. Visually, yeah.
Visually. I was like, holy shit, what am I looking at? And I'm going through it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. The assuredness of this line is crazy, and just the colors are magnificent. And then I started to really look at the images, and I was like, what? Wait, what? And it scared me. This book scared me. And I know exactly why. Remember the time I told you about, and it's going to sound totally lowbrow, but this is how I'm linking it. The Chatterbait thing, the section with the Larry the Cable Guy looking trucker dudes with vaginas.
Yeah, right. Yep.
I found that very disturbing and off-putting. Not that these people shouldn't exist, but there was something that shattered, or at least put a big crack in my perception of the human organism, that I just found I had to shudder. Like it just knocked me off my pedestal for a little bit, or my footings, I should say. And this book did that too, because there's a lot of sex in it, and the characters
definitely a lot of sex.
The characters are man-ish, but the one has breasts, but like super hairy legs, and a vagina, it was like this this entity from Zeta Reticuli just landed and knocked on my front door. Like I didn't know what I was looking at. And, no, I don't want to sound like a rube or whatever derogatory term they apply to people that just don't get it. And I was shocked by it enough to push me away from it. But there's something there that makes me want to read this and understand it, because you know me, I like when I'm pushed into that uncomfortable zone. I have to be totally honest. I haven't been pushed in an uncomfortable zone to this degree in a long time. So I want to read it, but I have to admit I'm a little scared to read it. And I guess that's a good thing, right? Like, what are you going to read? The 7,032nd issue of Spider-Man? Would you going to get the same old shit you were given the every issue before it? Or do you want something that really just splits your brain?
Yeah, that's where I'm at, man.
Breaks your head apart. Me, you know? Yeah, no, I want to be challenged, but I'm just going to be totally honest. Like I don't hide anything. This one really, it shocked me, and I want to read it. It's just when and under what conditions, I don't know. I may be feeling some kind of way in a week and go back to it and think it's like the best thing ever, because 50% of the battle is already won. That art is just spectacular.
I've thought a lot about wishing we could see an alternative world where we all read the exact same things we've all read over the years we've done the show, but we time shifted a year different. And how different our views or perspectives would be on the same works.
My dude, if we could go back to that episode, the era of that episode when you're like, Mike Allred, not for me.
Yes.
I gave you anything you read.
All read and quiet. Yeah.
I got Volume 5 of the Madman Library edition sitting here right next to me. So.
If we gave you any book you've read in the past, like, say, 5 to 7 years, that younger Jason would have to have changed his drawers because you just would have shit your pants. You'd be like, whoa. You'd find some affront to your humanity or something. You've grown the most out of all of us. I've always been perfect, but
I was a pupa in the chrysalis needing to burst out.
Yes.
Yeah, and you did.
There you go. No, DAP, because I know that with the, like, I don't know if you guys thought, I mean, I guess I was trying to think, like, because I know Silver Sprocket has themes. I mean, pretty much the entirety of what we were sent in this box was queer comics, right? Like, am I forgetting? Like, are there any? I guess
not Michael Sweater.
What's that?
Not the Everything Sucks.
True, and then Leftstar, I guess, really isn't. So okay,
no,
so
Leftstar
the character.
Leftstars are they them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
so the majority is for sure.
Yeah. But they do. I mean, we just received an email from Silver Sprocket detailing the categories. Like they have the essentials, which is Catboy, really smart to put that in there, right? Magical Beatdown, Your Black Friend is in there. Then they have romance, which is mostly queer or trans. Then they have a horror category. I was hoping they sent us Acid Nun because I really, really want to get my hands on that. And we talked about Hellphone by Benji Nate, which is amazing. I'm just looking at all these Silver Sprocket books, and it's like, holy crap! Like they do amazing stuff.
They do great tastemakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time, send Acid Nun.
Well, okay, all right. Well, we'll talk after because I've got Kyle's email, so he definitely said if there's anything.
Well, make sure you let him know that we did a deep dive on.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, just get an email tomorrow morning, no doubt.
I think we were entirely complimentary, even though one of us, meaning me, didn't click with a lot of the thematic.
Yeah.
Just so what?
For sure.
So what? I'm an asshole.
I mean, when you have output like this, I mean, basically just law of averages. Not everything is going to hit. Even for Fantagraphics, bro, you don't love everything they do.
Right, we had that.
Yeah.
Like, man,
so it's like, not. Yeah,
I did. Okay.
I mean, I'm not trying to compare, but I mean, like when we were talking about Everything Sucks, and then the type of the cardstock covers, the gold foil, the spot. I'm thinking about like the majority of Fantagraphics stuff is primarily black and white, and granted, whether it's hardcover or softcover, whether it's the Popeye books or the Fabulous Furry Fruit, but like their packaging obviously is top notch. I'm not going to deny that, but and I don't want to compare the publishers, but I mean how eclectic Silver Sprocket is compared to just about most. I mean, maybe Drawn and Quarterly you could compare, but I mean, like there aren't too many publishers that just kind of do a scattershot and like we'll publish any story that anybody tells, and not to say that they're just doing that because we're going to tell any story and they're hopefully they're good or bad, but they're all we enjoy what we read. But I mean, it's just like the I'm just still in awe over the packaging that this publisher does.
I think you do need to do a little bit of rabble rousing and a little bit of public display to get people's attention these days. Just publishing a book is not enough. You need a little bit of spot varnish and a little bit of gold foil or colored foil and good paper. Like there's a lot of great publishers out there that produce really valuable work that doesn't get seen. So I completely understand the need to jazz up the cover. Just to get those eyes on it. And then once you get it in someone's hands, I think the work is going to speak for itself. The problem is getting it into hands or getting it
or making people aware that it even exists.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, I would say Silver Sprocket's track record with me lately is much higher than Fantagraphics.
Ooh, that is a scandalous statement, but let's move on.
Just saying.
The other publisher that you're a fan of that you get you get the mystery box from,
Desert Island.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like they're kind of in the same arena.
They're in the same arena, but Desert Island's back in the cheap seats, and Silver Sprocket's up front.
Yeah.
No, I love Desert Island, but
yeah, you do.
They're not. Yeah. And then Floating World.
Sure.
Floating World has a great track record as well.
Yeah. Yep.
I would compare Silver Sprocket to Floating World, but Floating World doesn't have the output Silver Sprocket
it's
does.
like you might get like 1 or 2,
but they're always
in
great
previews, and
Yeah.
then nothing for another month or 2. So
That Monster Club was freaking incredible. That Shaky
You're making
Cane.
me think of all the small press publishers that we've given love to over the years that have come and gone. Picture Box.
Why you got to go there?
No, just, you were like, I was thinking about. I'm like, oh man,
that's my biggest. Yeah, Picture Box is my biggest heartbreak.
I know.
When they left, man, I was crushed.
You were. But I mean, listen. But Ad House gave us a lot of bangers. Man.
Oh, for real? Yeah, Chris. Yeah, I love.
Chris is still going strong. People don't get twisted. I mean, he's still living his best life. But I'm saying, but Ad House is no more.
I think even Chris would admit that Picture Box was.
Doesn't have to be a dick measuring contest.
It doesn't. I mean, you're right. You're right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's many more, but those are the 2 that came to mind, like the ones that like really hurt.
Right. So there you go, Silver Sprocket-O-Rama. Not the last time we're going to do one of those. That was great. What else do we have? I got some stuff in the wings here.
Yeah,
so with that list, yeah.
We got a big ass list.
Actually, Jason, I want to know, because this will tell me if I need to hurry up and order it or if I can wait on it. I want to hear about Noir Burlesque.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, when I got it, you were like, "Oh, bet we'll tag on," and then if I'm not mistaken, DCBS shorted you.
Yes.
Yes, that hurts. So the draw for me, I mean, because I know people are like, "Wood's about to talk about a Noir book." I mean, the draw for me here was mainly Enrico Marini, who wrote and drew the book, and Marini is one of those weird creators where I was more aware of his significance in the art scene as a sought-after commission artist than I realized like any of his published work. It was inverse for me. For those that don't know, Marini's like one of those. He's like Art Adams level commission, like both in pricing and people are sought after. Like he's pretty much that big, that big festival they have each year now up in Lake Como, the Lake Como Fest. He's basically like he's one of the main draws that people go to Lake Como for this convention just to get a chance to have Marini draw for them. So his and like many artists that are sought after in that way, like he's known for his for the way he draws women. He draws gorgeous pinup women. So I thought, okay, like a noir detective book by Marini, it's got to be good on some level, right? And this is from it's part of the Hard Case Crime imprint, which is by Titan, but it's their crime imprint. But the long and the short of it is, I enjoyed it for what it was, Dap. But I think it is, other than that Marini draws it, and so it looks beautiful. It is very by the numbers in terms of the story, like, and the settings and the vibe, and like visually, it's exactly what you expect. Like the walk up detective office that's dark until the femme fatale walks in and then sits down and tells her story, and then it's like the whole aesthetic is like as if you queried ChatGPT to write you a noir book, and so it felt very like by the numbers. But with that said, Marini draws such beautiful people, and not just women. He just draws gorgeous looking people. I mean, I thought the book was a treat to look at as I was reading along, but I thought it was a quick read, a very predictable read. So I won't say this like will leave me with any kind of like, from a narrative perspective, I'm not going to remember this book in a year. I'm not going to even remember what it was about. But I can picture in my mind right now as we're talking about this, some of the images, right? And in particular, the way that he draws, Caprice, who is the redhead on the cover. I mean, so visually, definitely worth it especially if you like that pinup-y, art, Adam Hughes style art, the Terry Dodson, like it's of that school. And you're such a fan of like noir detective that this might be more of your comfortable pants than it would be for me. Like I am with vampire stories. I mean, it's pretty hard for me to like hate a vampire comic. I mean, some of them aren't great, but like I can't. I just like the genre so much, and I'm like down with it. You might. So your safety net here might be higher than mine.
I'll be a bit more forgiving.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, I thought it was fine. but not like one of those meals you have and you're like, oh, that was good, but then a couple days later you're like, what did we have for dinner on Thursday? I don't remember. That's kind of how I think this book is.
Okay, all right. Self-contained. It's all right there. There's nothing. It's not like it's a series.
Yeah, I mean, it's a full. Yeah, it's a couple. It's a 200. I think it's 220 pages. So
chunky. Okay.
It's fully. It's all there.
Good. Did you say chunky?
I said chunky. It's a chunky boy.
Do the chunky dance.
That's it. That's the Jason take on this book.
Well, there's not because there's
that's
not much
terse,
else,
my man.
Nah, but there's not much else to say, man. It's not the kind of book that you want to go through plot. I mean, there's no, like I said, it's very by the numbers. I mean, you can if you've watched a movie or read a book or listened to an audio drama or like you've seen this before. Like you have seen this before, even though so there's nothing really narrative or aesthetically that I need to go into other than say if you're not familiar with Marini's art. I mean, yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, the dude knows how to draw the human form.
Yes.
Nice. He sure does. Yep. What else do we have?
That origin on your list, that's the story from Boom?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, origin is from Kondansha.
Oh.
Yes. Remember I used to talk at length about Dr. Stone?
Yes.
Primarily because of the artist, Boichi.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this book is written and drawn by Boichi. And where Dr. Stone was somewhat all ages, for the most part all ages, where the violence and the sexuality was very much toned down and PG-13. But the trademark of Boichi is the way he draws women, I think. And that was Dr. Stone was riddled with very attractively drawn males and females. This origin is 16 plus. So the violence is hyperkinetic. It's like a John Woo movie mixed with just pick a dystopian sci-fi thriller where the lead in question, his name's Origin, and he's a robot. The story's not very complex or groundbreaking. Origin is a robot who the reason why he's called Origin is because he was the prototype. He was the first. And I believe there's 8 or 9 remaining robots of his ilk. And over the course of the entire series, he is going to hunt down and destroy the remaining robots. That's it. Mm-hmm. But it is Boichi has a drawing style that is absolutely impeccable. He is amazing in every respect. His textures, his line work, the way he draws the human body, both male and female, clothing, architecture. Like, this guy is a world-class illustrator. And yes, again, full disclosure, it's the way he draws females that got me in the door. There's a battle in here between Boichi and what he thinks is a woman, but it's not. She's a robot. And over the course of the battle, she pulls out a gun and just starts blowing away human beings. She breaks off this guy's forearm at above the elbow, takes the body fragment and jams it into his chest. Like, it is ridiculously violent. And I shouldn't say first of all, but Origin keeps the blade of his katana in his arm. And he has the handle on a little like vest type, like a gun holster, but it holds the handle. He pulls the blade out, connects the blade, and he gets to killing. But over the course of this battle, he first deflects all her bullets. She's got an automatic weapon. He deflects them with the tip of the katana. And she looks at it, and it's all pitted and scarred from the bullets, and she's like, the fuck? And he cuts her head off, and she grabs her head with her hand, and she's biting her neck. She's a robot, and she's still fighting. Her legs separate, and you could see like all of the inner workings of and she's buxom, of course. Long story short, he ends up beating her, but he slices her to ribbons and puts her in a bag. And that's just the beginning of it. Like, this book is messed up. And I'm so grateful that, the Dr. Stone, I love it. I have every volume. It's what I cherish that series for a number of reasons. Primarily the art. That's why I jumped on this so fast. But there's Mecha in here. There's another female, and there's fan service in it too. Like, he focuses a lot on boobs and butts, but that's okay. I mean, you know what you're getting into when you get this. But the tech involved in this book is just gorgeously rendered, like amazing. I don't want to say Matrix because that's lazy, but there are a number, like, we're talking in some instances Jeff Darrow level detail, like stupidly detailed.
Wow,
amazingly so. And there's a lot of fights in it. There's a lot of gunplay. It's primarily an action comic, but visually, holy mackerel, this art is just astounding. So it's $12.95 for, I think, 200 and whatever pages. There's back matter where he goes into detail on the vehicles and the weapons used in the preceding pages. It's just so good. It's amazing. So it's from Kondansha. It's a vertical book, and it is Origin Volume 1. Volume 2 is solicited, I believe, in this previews. So get in on it now. It's not an extended series. I believe it wraps up with volume 10 or 11. So you're not in for a pound. You're in for a couple pennies.
Okay. Yeah,
it's not like Dr. Stone with 26 volumes and a special. This is fairly manageable. So I'm pretty sure that it's either over or close to being over. So it's in the can. You're not going to have any delays. Just go get it. If you like great art, then, brother, you need to be reading Origin.
Okay. So the miniseries Scrapper finished. The 6th issue came out. And it wasn't. I'm trying not to say it was predictable. The outcome was kind of what I expected, but that doesn't mean I still enjoyed it, and I would like more. And it ends in a way where it's a possibility. Whether it continues this story or the world that these pets live in can continue, we'll see. But as far as our hero taking on Smite and having felines aid in the cause, as well as the the pigeons that have just been all about helping the scrapper. But yeah, I think it's and the art has consistently been great. This is a story by Cliff Bleszinski and Alex DeCampi, art by Ryan Kelly, colors by Jordi Belair, and yeah, whether you've got the Jordi's colors are they're kind of subdued in spots. You got the dot Mori pattern on here and there, but there's definitely some added drama to the story, whether or not our heroes would prevail, or at least intact. And there were some pretty scary moments, and whether or not I'm not gonna say give anything away as far as whether or not the whole party, the whole fellowship makes it back, but it's a really it's weird. I'm stopping short of saying it was a feel good story, because it's a little bit of a it can be a bit of a warning as far as putting your faith in others that are not out for your best interests or care for your well-being. There's a there's a little bit of a political bent, and of course there's a lot of beware of technology in the story. But overall, yeah, it was a solid time. I hope that Cliff continues telling other stories, if not continuing the story of Scrapper in this world. But yeah, I mean, there was the back matter. I do think it's actually, I think he says there will be in April there will be a hardback trade hitting the shelves next year, with a brand new wraparound cover. So if you missed out on the singles, you'll be able to get the collection next spring. But yeah, I will see. Maybe if the collection does well, that they'll want to come back and do more. But no, I really enjoyed it. I mean, you were right when you saw it in the catalog. You saw the preview pages that it would be up my alley, and yeah, it was a
so up your alley.
There were, I mean, and there were, I mean, listen, I enjoy Homeward Bound, and there are parts of that movie that are a bit tough to take, but I still power through it. But no, this was a very this was fun, because yeah, you of course, obviously you had the pets angle, but you also had all the sci-fi and tech aspect too. So it really it kind of ticked all the boxes for me. But yeah, I would definitely, and again, it's nothing that you're not looking at decades of mutant history to read these 6 issues. Everything is right here. This is all you need, and I think you'll be entertained. I mean, between the art and the story, there's quite a bit to enjoy here in these 6 issues.
It is a very good looking book. I mean,
it is.
I read the first issue, and admittedly haven't read past that, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's a really smart looking book, and it's one of those things like, why didn't I? It just happens, Doing this, if we weren't doing this, I'd have time to read freaking everything. Right. So let's just stop. I was going to say, is Dick Lick back? But obviously he is.
Everything good?
Yeah.
Good.
All right. There's another book on our list that we all have read.
Do tell.
The first issue?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jason,
I didn't know you were here.
What did you think about Crave #1 from Maria Lovett?
I think it's, yeah. I don't. Is it? I think maybe Lovett. She's Spanish, not French. But
well, okay, Maria Lovett.
But yes. In a lot of ways, it's exactly what I thought it would be. In the sense that Lovett has just such a distinctive aesthetic now between all of her comics, many of which she hasn't written, as she did with this, but she's been the visual, obviously the visual director and crafting of the worlds. But if you told me that this book took place in the same universe as Faithless, I would have no reason to doubt you. I mean, it felt like it was another story in that same world, which is a big plus for me, because I think her style, which is almost like fashion model, she almost draws almost like you're looking at fashion model sheets, or like a Guido Krepak Aeon Flux kind of a vibe, right? Like there's like it's that style, not as polished, and certainly not with that sci-fi bent, but that same kind of like very lithe, very glamorous looking people, both men and women, just beautiful people, right? Like pretty people. But I liked it a lot. I was curious, as was often the case when an artist starts doing their own work, but them mainly as an illustrator and not a writer, how's that transition going to be? Like I said, I mean, it's one issue, but I can't tell you that this felt any less polished or not on the same level as Faithless, which was written by Azzarello, right? So it's like, so that was, I mean, she passed that test in as much as it was a test. And the premise, for those that don't know, haven't read the book, is it's on a college campus, and there is an app going around. And this app wasn't something people downloaded. It magically appeared on everybody's phones in the school. It's called Crave. And it's basically a bot, chat bot. You go in and you request things, and it tells you the answers. And the deal is, it asks you what you're craving, and you tell it what you're craving, and it tells you then how to make that how to manifest it, how to make it into a reality. And it seems to be working, because people be fucking. there's people all over this campus just hooking up with each other, and occasionally we see a glimpse of someone requesting something, and they're told you have a less than 10% chance of that happening. But it's like an error message, like some kind of like threshold, where it's like, no, we can't make that happen. But generally speaking, it's like making all these people's, for lack of a better idea, wish come true, dream come true. But of course, there's, with all Levette books, and just, it would be kind of boring otherwise, given the setup, that there's a dark side to this, right? And we're just kind of getting a glimpse of what that dark side might be as the issue wanes. But yeah, this is totally, I'm here for it, man. Like you give me beautiful people in glamorous situations getting up to no good. I'm here for that. Like, that's an easy sell for me.
Nice.
What'd you think?
I would rather hear what you thought.
Damn, Vince the O-Rama isn't treating Vince right tonight.
He is salty. I did enjoy it. I really like the art a lot. I think, I don't know if there was enough here for a first issue to really get me all wrapped up in it. I kind of get where it's going. I'm here for that. The whole thing about the app and manipulating, and people giving way more of themselves than they should. Like I get it, and it's it absolutely can be. This is a warning, but I would have liked a little bit more. We get an idea of some of the characters, but I would have, like I said, I would have liked a little bit more to really kind of wet my whistle with it.
Okay.
Vince?
No, my dislike for this book was intense.
Wow, dude, what's going on with you tonight?
Again, I'm totally not speaking on the art. I think Lovette, Jason nailed it. She has the line of a fashion illustrator.
Yeah.
And I think visually there's nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. I found solace somewhere in the line where the story just, I really didn't care. An app where you can hook up with people and like whatever. Spoiled kids lamenting the fact that their boyfriend don't love them, whatever. There was zero connection with the story. I just thought it was pretentious and boring and just a waste of my time. But I like the art.
Oh my god. Oh, Caleb's heart's breaking somewhere.
No,
Ray's heart's breaking
so
somewhere.
is Ray's, yeah.
No, this fairly demure beauty who you can tell underneath has something going on because you can just tell by the cut of her hair and you knew something was coming, but she sends him like a bondage pic, whatever. Like if that's your idea of story making, then have at it. But that's not mine. I have no concern for any of the events in the story, whether they find their heart's desire or they don't. It doesn't really matter to me. It's a whiff. Sorry.
Okay. Clearly, who publishes this? Is this AWA?
No, Image.
No, Image.
Oh, is it Image? I was going to say. All
If
right.
it was an AWA book, it would never have gotten in my hands.
Yeah. I was just gonna say.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no way. No way, AWA.
Ah.
No, it's well drawn.
This episode of Nothing just speaks to what a thin line there is between loving and disliking anything that we read. Because there's so many instances of things that specifically turn you off that are things that don't bother, let's say, Dapper Eye, but were the book slightly askew in terms of what it was about, I'd be like, it's not my thing.
If she had a dick that spoke, I'd be down with it. You know what I mean? There has to be an angle, some novelty or transgression.
Right, so like compare this to Faithless, right? Where at the end of the first issue, spoiler, so I haven't read it yet, and it's 5 years old or 6 years old, but right, and she's having sex and she turns into a bunch of snakes, right? Like So listen. Okay, I mean,
teen romance not my thing. I don't.
Yeah, I was going to say this is right. Well, and you know what? I mean, as you both talk about this, I guess because of all of her other work having a supernatural bent to it, I assume this does too. But maybe it doesn't. I assumed it would. Like otherwise, I don't know. Like,
but why would you wait? You have it. You immediately know in the first 5 minutes of meeting someone whether you're going to click with them or not, right? Mannerisms, dialogue.
Oh man, there's plenty of people that I've met that I've come to like, or flip side, come to really dislike. That I like. Actually.
Okay, but so I like to pride myself on being able to tell whether or not I can find something interesting in this person that would compel me to actually have a dialogue with them, right? This book is one of those people that I automatically, why would you wait till the second conversation to reveal, oh yeah, this chick is the devil's daughter, like, or something akin to that. Like, why would you hold that back? You want to lead with that, at least in the first 5 minutes, which I would think that this issue would be like, say, 5 minutes of conversation. You want to make sure you sneak that in to see you get your hooks in this person like a Cenobite and draw them in, right? But there was nothing like this. It's just an app and people fucking and kids, woe is me. No.
Trying to think. I think if people have an affinity for things like the OC or Outer Banks, this book's probably this would have been enough for you to continue the ride. If those things aren't in your wheelhouse of interest, I could see what you guys are saying. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to. Your thoughts on it are valid. It was enough for me because the setting is something I find appealing. Right.
If there was a twist,
I mean, I I was a liberal elitist right at college. Like that was our vibe. So I'm like, all right, I'm with this.
Yeah, and again, you got to take people. From my perspective, I'm trying not to. I don't need to find something of myself in every book I read. That's not a prerequisite. I don't care, but basically a loner, had friends, but not a large group of friends. Didn't do the drinking or the dating thing. Like, this is a world that I'm aware of, but that I just don't like wandering into. So the whole, like, gotta get,
like it was a reunion for me.
gotta get my fuck on with this app, and like, whatever. I mean, if you, the way I approach it is, if you really like this person, why don't you just go tell them? There you go. You don't even need the app. Like, lay it on the line and just tell them, or then shut up. I don't know. It's just strange. It's a strange thing. Yeah. I knew we were going to be talking about this. And as soon as it came out, I read it knowing that you were going to say something about it. And I kind of assumed David would read it too. So I'm figuring, well, topic for discussion, I'll read it. And it's like, oh man, what did I get myself into?
Why don't you just tell us how much you hated Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees Number 2 and Captain Nice?
Well, after the first issue, I didn't read issue 2. So.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Because you don't want to, or because you just haven't had a chance to?
Nah, it's not a priority. I thought
I wasn't on the episode when you guys talked about it with Fleece, and I guess I just assumed, because I know Fleece loved it and Dap loved it and I loved it. I assumed you liked it too. I guess I didn't listen to the episode, so
it was okay. It was all right. Yeah.
Richard Scarry, serial killer, and Richard Scarry book doesn't. Yeah.
No, it's fine. I don't love it, but I completely understand. I get why it's good. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I think the art is really well done. I thought the story was fairly interesting. Yeah, it's good. It's fine. But there's nothing that's pushing me to read more. Mm-hmm. But I know the second issue came out.
I know you loved the second issue, right, Dan?
Did he die?
No, I'm here. I did. Did he die? Jesus Christ. Yeah, Sam.
Too much
NyQuil.
Too much NyQuil.
No, I
NyQuil ball.
That's it. No, I thought it was I like that it based on how the first issue went. Not that I was expecting any sort of formula, but I didn't know. I didn't really know where we were going, and the fact that that Patrick Horvath, the writer and illustrator, introduced other characters and one in particular that kind of deserves what they get. I like that we're adding to it, and like basically whatever we got in the first issue, like we weren't trying to figure out the mystery just based on what we were already given. Like we're building on it, and I really I appreciate that, because we're getting more of the people in this little sleepy town than we did in the first issue, and which makes sense, because the big reveal, of course, the murder, the death at the end of the first issue, we get the fallout from that, and as Sam and of course the sheriff are both trying to piece things together, it is interesting. I'm kind of invested to see, because it's weird, because Samantha is clearly designed to be the character we're maybe not relate to, but that's whose story we're kind of, she's narrating it.
Right, yeah.
But it's not exactly like Tony Soprano's, like, why are you rooting for this person? But there's someone else doing things that she's doing in her own backyard, where she's smart enough to go outside, and that is definitely going to curb her style a bit. So yeah, I think the idea, the concept interests me a lot, and the art's amazing. But the second issue absolutely built on the first, and it made a really interesting story. The second issue added to that and is making it better.
But there's one confounding aspect of this, and it's like the Stuart Little thing. Like, Stuart Little is a mouse that can talk. Yeah. Well, we all know who Stuart Little is. But there's mice. There's animals in that world that can't talk. Like the turtle has a dog.
Like Pluto and Goofy. Yeah.
So why is the dog not on the level of other dogs in this book?
Disney made those rules.
I mean, if you look at the cover, you've got
the pigs. Like
at the butcher. It's like, so obviously it's like, so this is a whole world of cannibals. I mean, like
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, it's intriguing. I'll give it that. But
those are the threads you don't pull on. Like you don't look at the science behind that. You just just take it at face value. Just
right.
Well, I think it's literally just pulled out of a Richard Scarry book, right? Because that's how Richard Scarry books were. They were anthropomorphic characters, but they were also farm animals.
It's crazy.
That was
So in the hierarchy of evolution, like why do some animals ascend to humanistic tendencies?
Ask Disney, dude.
And some of them are just animals. Like how do you? I don't.
Pluto's somewhere right now being like, "Yup."
Yeah. Well, if Pluto had his way, I don't think he would ascend to the Goofy status, but maybe.
I don't know. Goofy's a player.
Peg like pizza dog too. So
Goofy gets in.
I really, I think I'm amused by some of the simple nods. Like, of course, the sheriff would be a bloodhound. Like that. Just, I mean, whether or not he's intelligent is one thing, but the fact that you've got the one dude who could sniff out crime and possibly suspects. It makes sense that the sheriff would be that breed, but yeah, cherry goddamn gherkins.
I almost was cherry gherkins tonight.
I was waiting, man.
Yeah.
I really wish you were cherry gherkins.
I know. I probably should have been. Recency bias.
You want to do it again?
I'm cherry gherkins.
You're not cherry gherkins. You're chasing wood. I mean, IDW must be loving the attention this book is getting because now they can go into previews for another month.
Oh, no, but now they got their own catalog starting next month. So.
Do they really?
Wait, what?
Yes. I posted it on the Slack. That's part of their whole 25th anniversary thing. Is that starting in January, they're going to have their own catalog, which is probably, I think Hassan said, is going to be like just one double-sided piece of paper. Like,
but I've noticed, to their credit, that they've actually been putting cover solicits.
There were covers in this month's previews. Yes.
Yeah, I mean times are tough. We get it. I don't want to dump on IDW because I really love the publisher, but there for a while it looked like they were on the skids, man. There was like Image coming soon for almost everything.
How is every book you're publishing you don't have and it's IDW. Every single book has at least one variant. How do you not have any cover images for anything 3 months out from now?
Yeah, it's like the anti-Xenoscope because Xenoscope has all the cover images. They just don't know who's working on the book. So it's like the flip side, the opposite, the antithesis.
And I don't think I'm being. I don't think this is an exaggeration. I am pretty sure between all the covers, all the interviews, all the merch, the Dynamite section in previews is the largest.
Oh man, they're taking over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like at least it's 40 pages minimum of just Dynamite shit. And I mean, I guess the manga section is big, of course, and but I mean that's broken up with Viz and Seven Seas and everybody else. But I mean, the Dynamite section is just amazing.
If you told me a year ago that Dynamite would be producing multiple Disney books, I would have told you you're out of your damn mind.
I mean, they've got 3 Duck books alone now.
Hades.
Yeah, all the
Maleficent.
All the
Maleficent. Yeah,
Scar. It's crazy.
Selling really
and
well.
you know what? I let's give credit where it's due. The books aren't bad looking.
That is absolutely fair because I've been very, very critical of IDW at points in their licensed work. But no, I think at least the stuff that I've seen, including the Duck books, which I'm reading, I agree.
Well, they looked at Tony's stuff. They're like, oh damn, we got up our game. Yeah. All right. Hey, that's about it. Because we're going to probably do it in your travels and take it on home. So if you enjoyed this, why don't you come back next time?
Come on back.
Yeah. We'll do the same thing, only different. Remember, this episode has been brought to you lovingly by cheapgraphicnovels.com. cheapgraphicnovels.com. You are going to get the best prices on omnibus editions. Ordered another one the other day. ROM Volume 2, trade paperbacks, OGNs, manga, art books, all that shit at a fraction of Amazon prices. Yes, it's true. And after you realize what you're going to save, you're going to make an order. You're going to get an email confirmation. You're going to reply to that email confirmation saying, 11 o'clock comics sent me, my dudes. They told me. They set me straight. They put me on the path of righteousness. Max, what can you do for me? And Max is going to say, ding. You know what, my brother or sister? You are going to get free shipping on your next order.
Big doings.
It's a plethora of savings. CheapGraphicNovels.com. Just go there. In your travels, I don't know how feasible this is going to be for everyone, but I was lucky enough to scoop the entire run of the first volume of Freak Force for $1.
Yeah, you were.
$1 an issue.
Damn. Listen, $20, yo.
Right. 18 issues. Of course, it was spearheaded by Eric Larsen. No surprise. But the plot and the storytelling was done by, do you guys know?
Nope.
Keith Giffen.
Oh, nice.
And the book has that same Justice League comedic bent that Giffen is famous for. God rest his soul. The art is by Victor Bridges, more often than not. Mike Miller on inks. Chrissy Eliopoulos did the letters. Gloria Vasquez, or Vasquez, if you're not stupid like me, did the color. And remember when they used to put color separation people in the books?
Yes.
Did we really care? Like, okay, you guys did good work. But it was much more difficult back then than it is now. But anyway, so, Freak Force. Have any of you read it? If you read Savage Dragon...
A long time.
Right. If you've read Savage Dragon, you've read the Freak Force. And,
well, sure, yeah.
Yeah, because that's where they began. But the whole deal is Chicago PD only needed one superpowered policeman on its force. So they kind of separated with Freak Force, and they weren't sanctioned by the local government. So they went on their own. And this is the tale of Freak Force. You have Super Patriot, Horridus, my girl Dart, Barbaric and Ricochet, Rapture, and Mighty Man. And a good chunk of the series is, at least the first third of it, is detailing the mystery of who is Mighty Man. Now, Mighty Man was a man named Robert Berman, who got sick and died. And he was old, right? And he died in the hospital. And because his nurse, Ann Stevens, was the only one there at the time of his passing, he bestowed upon her the Mighty Man powers. So Mighty Man externally is a dude, but internally is a woman. So the whole mystery of who is Mighty Man consumes the first third of this series. Everybody's trying to find out. And it's just a really fun team book. You have a almost constant villainy of the Covenant of the Sword, Mako, and a good number of the characters from Savage Dragon, including himself, show up after a while. Killcat pops up. It's just, it's not a whole lot of heavy lifting, right? It's just a really enjoyable, lighthearted, fun team book. So if you like team books with a more than slight comedic edge to it, as Giffen's Bwahaha JLA, you'll really enjoy Freak Force. And Victor Bridges obviously cut his teeth on the work of John Byrne, because Byrne would be flattered.
Yeah.
Yes. Like Savage Dragon, the letters pages in Freak Force go for 6-8 pages. Larsen's old school. He loves his letters.
Eddie son bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. So, a whole lot of fun. There's a little bit of uncomfortable moments because Ricochet is obviously underage, and the cut,
yes.
yeah, the cut of Her uniform
jumpsuit? Yeah.
is a little.
Well, it's Larsen. It doesn't leave much to his imagination.
Oh, there wasn't a crotch or an ass that Larsen didn't want to highlight.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Freak Force. I love it. I love this book. There's a volume 2, but I think it only lasted like 4 or 5 issues. I have those as well. But I couldn't pass up the chance to get the whole run for less than the price of a trade paperback.
For sure.
Yeah. You know what I got today?
What do you get?
The Supreme Annual. I've been looking for this thing forever.
Seriously?
I got it for $1. Yeah. And I got Legend of Supreme #1. I got the Shadowline Special for $1. I got gold today for $1 a piece. Yeah. Love the dollar bins. I'm trying to get an in with one of Dave's employees that pulls the books for the dollar bins. Oh, and I got Shadowhawk 2 #3, the one with the chromium cover with the poster. Yeah. I'm trying to get an in with him to like put all the 93 to 96 Image books aside before you put them out. Because I got to scoop them. I still don't have a whole run of Supreme.
Got to catch them all like the Pokemon.
Yeah. When Alan Moore came on Supreme, those books go for like more money than I want to pay for a back issue.
Big bucks. Yeah.
And they're not. They may have been collected at one time, but the collections are, if they do exist, I think they do, are expensive as well. Mm-hmm. And then when it went to what was it, Maximum, Liefeld's Maximum or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Extreme or Maximum, whatever. Those issues are expensive as well. So if anybody has those, I want them. Yeah, in your travels, Freak Force. Woohoo!
Nice. In your travels, because this just wrapped up, I've been talked about most of the 6 issues. But the 6th issue, it came out, and I want to mention it because Emanuela Lupacchino is not the only artist on World's Finest Teen Titans #6. Half of this issue is also illustrated by none other than Mr. Mike Norton. And it looks amazing.
How about that? That's
yeah,
great.
Man. I'm always happy to see Mike's art, of course, but and he's drawing the Titans again. And of course it's this version of the Titans, so it's not like it's Young Justice or anything like that. It's this team here, and the 6th issue, of course. It's wrapping up the relationships and the fallout, and a lot of one of the subplots for this series was the fact that the entire team, save one, knows who everybody is, but Batman will not let Robin reveal his secret identity, and it finally comes to a head, and Robin just is like, fuck it, Dick Grayson, and he does fess up and returns to the Batcave and tells Batman, I told my friends, and at first, because so the 6th issue, they're taking on the Terror Titans, and that battle ends how you expect it to end, and when they're done, Robin thanks the team, and Speedy says, "What are you thanking us for?" And Robin says, "For trusting me one last time." And Garth Tempest, Aqualad, is like, "What do you mean last time?" And Robin's like, "Listen, I have to let Batman know you know who I am, because I swore to him that I'd always keep our identities a secret." And even Bumblebee is like, "Listen, bro, we're not going to tell anybody anything. So I mean, like, we can keep this here." And Robin's like, "No, it's like, that's not the point. This is what I promised them. I have to let him know this is what I did. So, good luck with the team. I'll be watching you guys and via con Dios." But when he does get to the Batcave, he and Batman have a discussion. And Batman's basically like, you made a unilateral decision. And Robin's like, because you wouldn't approve. And Batman, he's coming down a little hard, but he's like asking him if you really believe a bunch of children will keep your secret. He's like, bro, they're fucking teenagers, man. They're no more kids than I am. And with all due respect, you don't know the first thing about being a teenager. And yes, but I understand the gravity of my actions. I broke my promise, so I'll assume I'm fired. And Batman just stares at him for a second and just lets him know 1 month without the uniform. And he says, but Batman does ask him, he's like, the choice you made, did it save lives? Robin says, yeah. And Batman says, will you do it again? And Robin says, not without talking to you first. He's like, all right, 1 month. And 1 month later, they're throwing a big welcome back party, and Robin shows up, and they're on their way out to take on some more D-listers. But this was a really, really entertaining 6-issue miniseries. It's based on, in that vein of Wade's World's Finest ongoing, so it's not tied into any ongoing continuity. You're not going to have to read this and then read Beast World, but this was a good time. I enjoyed seeing this version of the Titans represented this way, and the 6th issue had art by Mike Norton, so you really can't beat it. So in your travels, if you haven't been following along with the issues, I haven't checked DC Connect, so I don't know if it's been solicited yet. I'm sure it will be collected soonish, so I would definitely check it out. But yeah, in your travels, World's Finest, Teen Titans by Mark Waid and Company.
Speaking of somebody who got their teeth cut on John Byrne.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes. He's obviously, moved away from that.
Yeah.
But initially, 100%. And he'll
no doubt.
He'll happily admit that.
Oh yeah.
There's no hide.
Yeah, he's no fool.
Shy about it.
No fool.
Ain't no chump. In your travels, I want to take you back 10 years. Vince, we're going on a journey.
I'm here. I'm buckling up.
Yeah. One of the best books of that year, of 2013. And somehow, in the great cosmic journey of our reading and our ebbs and flows, I never read this book.
What?
And I say somehow because this is a book that I read all of the other major works by this said creator. I read Body World. I read Bottomless Belly Button. I read Doctors, etc., etc. But what I had never read for some reason was New School.
Oh, you're silly.
Right?
Yeah.
You're silly.
Yeah. But our good friends at Fantagraphics released a 10th anniversary hardcover of it this year. So I remedied my prior wrong and ordered it with the quickness and finally sat down and read Dashall's New School, which was his follow-up to Bottomless Belly Button, which, for you masochists, you can go back to our archives and probably the first year we were doing the show, we talked about that book at length. Yeah, and like I said, I just for some reason never read it. I don't know why. I just, read all the other stuff. But yeah, I mean, listen, this book was highly celebrated a decade ago. It's certainly, I'm not breaking any new ground by saying I thought it was great. I think the thing that one of the things that I love about Shaw is that, I don't think Shaw, from what he chooses to write about, is all that varied. Meaning, like the themes, the underlying themes that are in all of these stories, even if the veneer of the stories is different, is very similar. Like he's got a couple ideas and themes like disillusionment, right, and like Stranger in a Strange Land, and dealing with family trauma. Like these are things that are pretty recurrent in his books, just whatever, but the sheen he puts on them or the backdrop, the stage props are different, right? So I don't think it breaks new ground in that way, but what I was impressed by is just that the visual style is different, as it is with all his books. And I don't know if you remember, Vince, when you read it, but it's basically almost looks like he drew it with a Sharpie. It's a thick, scraggly, magic marker line. Basically, is pretty much almost every line in the book looks like that, but then with the typical Dash Shaw like splashes and strong uses of color on certain pages to almost to the point of obscuring the visuals at times. Like sometimes sometimes the color she chooses actually make it hard to see the line work, probably by design. But yeah, the story is, in as much as there is one, is a story of two brothers, Danny and Luke. They're kids of the 90s. And Luke goes off to a foreign land called Jian and goes there to teach kids there how to speak English. And Luke and his family don't hear, Danny and his family don't hear from him for 2 years. So Danny's finally coming of age and convinces his parents to let him go to Jian and try and find Luke and bring him home. And when he gets there, his brother's living a different life. He's working for this Disney World type of place called Clock World. And then they reunite and they get into a bunch of crazy shenanigans and then make their escape home. That's really kind of the structure of the book. It's 3 acts. But I guess it would be hard for me to, off the cuff, explain why I like Dash Shaw as much as I do, but something about his work, I always find it interesting. And I wouldn't say I ever read it and think, like, I don't connect with it in the sense of, like, oh, this is my kind of people, or I get to, but there's still something engaging about the way he presents these relatively alien characters to me, and I find them appealing. So, I really enjoyed it.
Nice. I was going to be mean, but I won't.
Okay.
No, I love Dash Shaw, but I was going to compare somebody to him, saying that Dash Shaw is the artist this person wants to be, but yeah.
Okay.
I'll save it for the after episode banter.
Which you Dash can Shaw does. Oh, good.
No, which you can only access by being a patron. What? That's true. Patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. You get hours and hours of inane after show and pre-show banter. Probably, what's the average? Like 3.5, 4 hours?
Probably.
Around there. But that's not all you...
Per month, usually.
Per month, yeah. We don't talk...
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Like, damn, you all sit around and talk for 3 hours after?
Take the damn bridge. You get cover images. You get pages a day. You get fanzine downloads. You get to weigh in on the book of the month. And you get the dedicated Slack channel where we meet day in and day out to talk about this kind of stuff and a lot of other things. So if you want to hear what I was going to say, you be a patron. And you'll know. But anyway, what were you going to say, Jason, before you interrupted me?
I interrupted you and then I lost my train of thought. So.
Oh, no, derailed.
All good.
Nice. Well, there you go. Hey, another one bites the dust. And we'll be back next time because we wouldn't have it any other way. We love talking to you. In the meantime, go to your comic shop, buy some comics, get online and talk about them, specifically on the 11 O'Clock Comics Facebook page or other socials, or just join the Slack, whatever. And read them, love them, talk about them, and then when you're done, we'll be here waiting for you because we have one thing to say, and that's good night. Chico? Bartholomew, right? No, it's not Bartholomew. I forget what the hell's his name? Teddy? Seymour. No.
Seymour.
It's not
Jesus.
Seymour. No, it's not Mephistopheles. It's right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember what it is. Durkin? Dieter? It's Dieter. It's Dieter. Dieter! No, it's not. It's neither of those. It's David.
What up?
How about that? It's a long one.
That's a good one.
We dragging his shit behind him.
Night.
Why do I always go to Michael Roll the Boat Ashore? It's like the dumbest song ever. Hallelujah. It's so stupid.
Michael Roll the Boat Ashore. Hallelujah.
Jesus.
Seminole.
David.
There you go.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Hemina.
Just tell them how much you love them.
Tons.
Yeah, especially this holiday season. Love you all a lot.
Why does it have to be during the holiday season?
No, it just brings out the little extra bit of niceness.
You should have it all the time, like me.
Don't forget,
Whoop.
the book of the month is World Without End.
Woof.
Is that
Also-
next episode or no?
No.
Oh,
Because
good.
Next episode is next episode a Wednesday or a Thursday?
Thursday.
Okay.
I got to pick up Colin on Wednesday from DC.
That's right. I wasn't sure if it was that week or the week after. But
Yeah, Jason just changes the schedule willy-nilly. Whatever.
Yeah.
hey, man, and you know,
You ain't making the bucks.
when
You
you're
can do that.
bankrolling the joint, yeah, you got.
That's always like, are you doing it Wednesday or Thursday? She's like, what day is Vince teaching class? I'm like, there you go.
See, she loves me. She loves these.
Oh, for sure.
That's it for that one.